What's going on, everybody? It's Greg. Uh, I needed a light for my 20-gallon long that I got recently. Um, so I decided tonight I am going to make a video on how I'm going to do a light for that tank. So this is me making a DIY light canopy with just the things I have around the house. So hope you enjoy. These are the items I'm going to be using tonight, or today, whatever you want to call it. It's 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning. I'm just back on my night schedule for work. This flower pot thing I've had for a couple of years. When I got the 20-gallon long, the first one I have, I was in the process of pulling the dirt out of this and putting it into a new planter, and this happened to fall and fell into the 20 long, and it fits perfectly over the top. These ridges right here stick out over the lip, and I even checked it again. I flipped it upside down, put it on it, and it sits up on the edge of it perfectly. My buddy gave me this light fixture that he got when he got his 110, and it just happens to fit in here very well. So I figure I'm going to mount that inside there, and I'm going to use the Reynolds wrap as the reflector part along the sides. I'll use the super glue just in the corners because it'll eventually have to be replaced. I don't want to have the whole thing stuck in there, so I'll glue the corners of it down so it'll reflect just that, or it'll hold it just there. 2 screws to hold in the light fixture, one right there, one right there. A marker or a crown. It's late. I just found the marker. I thought I was going to have to actually use the crown to be able to mark on the side where I am going to cut the hole for the electrical plug to go through. This is a simple one that you get at any hardware store or any electrical fixture that you can find. It's like a closet fixture or something like that. I got a couple different knives that I can use, and it's just for variety depending on how it feels like I'm going to need it. Always be careful when you're using stuff like that. Pair of dikes for trimming away the plastic in the circle. I'll use the knife to gouge the hole out, and then so I can get the edge of the dikes in, and I'll use that to cut the hole out instead of trying to use a knife to cut around the entire thing. And this is all I'm going to use for this. So let me do the first part. It's going to be marking off where the hole is, and getting the tin foil laid out to the sizes I need, and I'll show you again then. Alright, what I've done so far is I've got the foil, pull it out to length. I did a little long, so it's always easier, it's always better to have a little long than have it short. What I did is I cut the hole in the corner down here for the plug. I'll probably have to make that hole a little bigger since it looks like I went a little low. What I also did is I mounted the screws. And they are all the way through, and they'll come out the back. When I get all the way done, I'm planning on putting some wooden knobs or something like that on that back one. They're not all the way screwed down right now, so I'm not scratching up my table. But I decided to put the screw holes in first, just to make sure that I have the screw holes placed so I don't have to go through the foil and maybe hit a wrong spot or something like that. But the way I laid it or measured it out is I put a line on the side for where the main hole was and where the end of the slide was on both sides, and then I put it in where I wanted it. I actually was going to cut this little knob off at first, but I'm using it as a guiding post. So, and then I just went out to the side and go, okay, well, when I put it down, this is as far right as I can go. So I need it to be on the screws there. And when it goes over, it doesn't slide all the way over. So, but it'll be more than enough to hold it in place. And I am going to find something probably to wedge down in that corner, like a little piece of wood or something like that. Something, or a piece of ceramic or something like that, so it conducts the heat well enough that I don't have to worry about anything going bad. But with these types of fixtures, you don't really have to. They don't get that hot. So this is what I've done so far on this. Alright, this is what the foil looks like after you get it in before you glue it. All I've done is put it in there and slowly try to put it down, try to keep the edge along the edge right there, and then just flattened it down to the bottom. I'm not going to worry about putting anything to the bottom to hold it down, since the light fixture will be held down tight and that'll hold that in place. But I am going to go ahead and glue this side down real quick, and then I will continue on to the side over here, and I will show you the part after that. I'll show you this when it's done, and then the next step I'm going to do. Alright, I kind of tried both sides a different way. The one side, I crazy glued it at the edge and pulled the whole edge to the edge of it. This side, all I've done is kind of pushed it down in there and then wrap it around and shoved it underneath the edge of the flower pot. Kind of like if you were wrapping up a plate of food or something like that, you know, you kind of wrap the edge, and it seems to be holding pretty well. So my next step is going to be to refine the screw holes and to punch out the hole for the cord. Alright, so this is basically what it looks like when it's done. I just have to put it all together, which I'll do here in a second. You see that? I'll show you what that is. I didn't use wood on it. I just used sticks or tin foil. I used a walnut extractor to poke from the back to find my screw holes. I had to recut the front a little bit, or the plug a little bit. I didn't have it to the right spot. So let me go ahead and I'll see if I can set this up and get a good shot where I can film me putting it together real quick. Until light comes up and I can get in the fish room, I'm going to use a piece of cardboard folded up in place of a piece of ceramic. So I've got the light in there. We've got the two handles in the back. Take this piece, wedge it down. All that's going to do is ensure that it doesn't slide back. This will also work if you're using different size tanks. You could use rain gutters, or you could use even a litter box for a cat. Turn it upside down, cut the holes inside, and you can mount 2 of them in there. Just different ideas instead of having to go out and buy them. So, hope you all enjoyed. Alright, here it is on the tank. It does sit from one side to the other. Right now I've got a piece over here, but if I slide this over, you can see that it is over the edge and over the edge. To make it fit better, I am going to eventually trim this part off of it so it'll sit right down on this inner lip a lot better. But for right now, just until I get that done, I got this little piece of plexiglass to hold it here, and this is how it looks like in the tank.